Well, greetings, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday. Oh, my goodness. My name's Ken Close. I'm super happy to be here with you. And I've got an amazing co-host, Jake Barron from Head of Operations for Americas. Hey, Jake.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we have, I believe, Taylor at the lightning fingers in the background. Is that who's with us tonight?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Taylor. Woohoo. Thanks for being here. So glad you're here. I'm always excited with Taylor. I might have a little favoritism towards Taylor. I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad that the audience is here as well. Let me tell you a little bit about what we do here. If you guys are new, welcome, first of all. I'm glad you're here. And what we do here is you add your questions into the chat. We will bring those questions onto the call live, and I will do my best, and Jake will do his best to unpack and solve the mysteries of those questions. So I bring my background. I'm an electronics engineer, been that for many, many years, and I've been with Healy for, gosh, over 2.5 years now. So a little bit of experience there. And then, of course, Jake, head of operations, got the inside scoop with the corporate side. And we have the customer service agent in the background. Taylor is helping us. So there's really nothing we can't solve, or at least put on the table to be solved very, very quickly. What we can't do is that we can't treat, diagnose, or prevent any disease. We're not going to be talking about what microcurrent program solves what body mystery, but we can certainly tell you about how they work on a general scale. We can talk about theory. We can talk about quantum science. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. So bring your questions and let's make it happen. Everybody ready to launch?
Let's go.
Here we go. All right. So like I said, folks, throw your questions into the chat there and we'll start seeing what we got. Let's see. Let's see. You're asking for my upline who cannot use the Blue Dot app. Codes have not been emailed to her. Is there a problem sending them out? Okay, she checked for spam, but no codes. Okay, so what she's talking about there is the new system of activating the Blue Dot app, or AKA the Heal Advisor and Analyze app. And what we used to use was the master key system, and now there is a code that's emailed to the email on file. So Jake, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, just first to clarify, I don't know if this is the issue, but Healy has not emailed codes to everybody just in general. Like, that's not part of the process. So if she was expecting, if she's just now started having trouble with her Analyze app and she's looking for an email from Healy with a code, it doesn't exist because this is part of the app process of validating the new cloud account. So if she has version 1.2, 1.0, if she doesn't have 1.2, 1.0, there's not going to be a code that's sent to her because it's part of that most recent app update. But if she is part of 1.2, 1.0, the code is emailed as part of the, if you're setting up your, say you deleted your Analyze app, installed 1.2, 1.0 as a new application. You type in your email address, your password, and then instead of uploading your master key, you're either pulling it from your device, asking it to pull it from your iCloud, whatever. It's going to actually email a 6-digit code to the email address on your Healy account. And then you take that code, it's valid for 10 minutes. And then after that, you're just going to type in that code, and then it's going to pull all of your cloud data down. So instead of using the master key to do it, it uses the 6-digit code to verify, pulls all the cloud data down to your Analyze app, and then you can go from there. So, if the issue was she was expecting a code without going through that process in version 1.2, 1.0, then that would explain why she can't find the code. But if there's more information for that question, just put it in the chat, and Taylor's on this call too, and we can help us get that solved.
Mm-hmm. So Dina is also saying a similar kind of condition where she's been in demo mode for months in the Blue Dot app, and even had a tech Zoom call, but the issue came back. So in other words, I'm assuming the issue that came back is not able to log into the Blue Dot app. So, and now that we don't have a master key, what's the best way for her to proceed with the new code? So again, hopefully that kind of answers your question a little bit, Dina, about how, when you go to open it, it's gonna put you into this request phase.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if she has a specific, what the issue was with her Analyze app that she needed to run in demo mode, because if she's not, hasn't been using the master key because she's been in demo mode, I'm wondering if at this point it makes sense for her to possibly just start fresh with this new process, the new everything, and go from there. That could be an option. Or if not, since this was already helped or was already reached out to our team here and did a Zoom call, maybe they need to do another follow-up based off this new process in order to see what the best way to proceed, so you no longer have to run it in demo mode. But on some accounts, so like on my particular account, I can force this 6-digit code to come up. So if I log out of my Analyze app, log into demo mode, just do whatever, and then log out of demo mode and log back into my existing account, at that point, it's asking me for that 6-digit code rather than to upload the master key. So you could try that, log out of demo mode, try logging back in and see if it asks you for the 6-digit code. And if it does, it'll send it to your email address on your Healy account, and then you should be able to go from there. But again, this is kind of it's a new process, so there are some unique situations that we'll have to kind of work through on a case-by-case basis. But
and remember the stimulus, guys, when you're to stimulate the actual function of emailing a code in the first place is the fact that you've logged out of the Blue Dot app. You've logged out, so that has to happen first, and then you attempt to log back in, or as Jake mentioned, log into the demo mode, because then of course it's going to show you that the demo mode does function within your app, right? And you can actually do some action, do something in there, and then log back out, because that's showing you that the cloud and your app are syncing up, because there's a sync up process. So now you know the cloud and the app is functional, the Healy and the app is functional, and then log out and go back into your account, log into your account with your credentials, and it's going to prompt the email generation at that point. And as Jake said, it's only there for a short period of time, so you can't dilly-dally.
yeah, and the code's there for 10 minutes, and if it expires, you didn't get it in time, you can just request a new code to be sent from within the app too. So.
Okay. Hopefully that helps. Dina, if there's more to it, please put it in our chat. Yep. And then we of course, we always love to hear success stories. So if it works for you, let us know. Put that in there too.
Yeah. Okay. We'll ring the tech tip bell if we get a success story.
That's what we need, is a tech tip bell. Ding.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the next one. Please help solve this. All right. The Fine Flow program. It worked once, but after that, it does not transmit. Always shows 0 frequency. Let's see, I'm using new bracelets, cables, and have reset the Healy. Will delete pink dot and reinstall help. So Fine Flow, when you go into that program and it's running, and you see a frequency of 0 hertz. So some of these programs simply run microcurrent into your body, which energizes ATP. So is that what should be happening? Does the system actually, when you're running the program and you've increased it to some percentage, now if you're not able to change the percentage of intensity, that's an app flaw. Okay, that's something wrong with the app, which you would have to hard close the app and re-engage. And if it continues to happen, then you need to delete the app and reinstall the app. Something went wrong with the software, the app itself. the program. Okay. So
Yeah, and the 0 hertz, that's what it's supposed to do for fine flow. Like I just put it on right now. You see fine flow 0 hertz. So that's what you're seeing. That's perfectly normal for that program. So
that's the frequency being sent, not the amplitude or the intensity. So you still have the ability to change the plus and minus to change the intensity, and you'll feel it. And so you want to change the intensity, and you want to see the white indicator on the progress bar, which is the circular white tail, or the tail behind the red dot. So you want to see that turning white. And to make that happen, you need to up the intensity with the percentage plus and minus keys. And that's it. And then it's 0 hertz, meaning there's actually no frequency change to the microcurrent. In other words, it's just a solid signal going through your body. And that solid signal sometimes takes an increase in amplitude, or in other words, an increase in intensity. So upping it from, if you have it at 0% on the intensity, it's really putting out no power, and you will probably have a black indicator.
yeah.
Right. So give that a shot. Give us some feedback.
Okay. There's a couple, I'm just going back up here since it looks like we were pretty much caught up there at this moment. But there's a question, we've had this one for several weeks now about the pink dot app looping back to the main menu. And Taylor put the solution there, the workaround in the meantime. Of course, this will be addressed and fixed in the next release of the pink dot app. But for now, she mentioned here that you can turn Wi-Fi and mobile data off and then connect to the program. If that works to run that particular program, usually if you do a full delete, restart the smart device and reinstall, it should work for a longer period of time and not have to do that each time. But for now, that is the workaround that you can use for that particular issue.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. When you turn the Wi-Fi off from your smart device, it shuts down the seek and check function, where it's constantly trying to find a Wi-Fi or a signal strength of integrity. So it shuts that part off. The pink dot does have an update process. Every time you open it, it will search for an update automatically. Anytime you open either one of these apps, or any of the apps for that matter, any app on your smart device, when you open it, it's going to automatically seek an update function. So when you have Wi-Fi turned off, it won't allow that. So as Jake said, if it's persistent, then deleting the app. Remember, when you delete the app, you also need to shut your smart device off and back on, so that way all the deleted fragments in which it interfaced with the different modalities of your smart device are also cleared. So those all get cleared out. And then when you reopen your smart device and reload the app goes out and finds all of the parts of your smart device it needs to function with, such as the Wi-Fi connection, the Bluetooth connection, the access to your camera, to the touchscreen function, all that. It reopens all that and re-solidifies the interface or the handshaking. So these details may seem small, like, I don't need to shut off my smart device, I just deleted the app. Yeah, you still do. So go ahead and do those things. There's actually a purpose to that. Method to our madness.
Okay, there's an interesting question here. It was a little bit further up. It says, what is the difference to running the selection from all Healy programs versus running those same programs individually? So this person's talking about the Analyze app, the Blue Dot app. And then, when you do a scan, you can pick all Healy programs, and then it'll pick, the top 5, and then it'll tell you the individual percents for each of them. And you can run just like that, all Healy programs, or you can go back in, do the scan again, just for, say, the top one, say the top group, you wanted to run that particular scan again and dive a little bit deeper into that particular one. And then, of course, you can do that. It's more of a focused sort of search there. And this question does come up quite a bit, because we also someone might do an all Healy program scan, and then it says maybe the top program group was, I don't know, let's say 65%. And then they go, okay, I'm going to run just a scan on that program group. And then within that program group, they said, well, why are none of the programs in here at least 65% or higher? Because it's a completely different scan that you're doing, completely different database that it's searching there as well. So Ken, what would you say to that question? It's not necessarily better or worse. It's a different way of going about running those vibrations. So.
Right. When you run the analysis on the database called all Healy Programs, there's over 200 programs in there. I should say over 200 different pages. I mean, there's and then on each page is up to 12 programs, and within each program is up to 400 different frequencies that's available to each one of those programs. So now do the math. That's a lot of content. Okay, so let's say that you do a scan based on all Healy programs. Now I'm talking about the various pages, over 200 pages. Okay, so it's going to pick the top 5 pages, relevant pages for your condition, whatever it is going on with your body. So it's going to pick the top 5 pages. Now, still 5 pages times 12 potential programs per page. That's still, 60 different programs with up to 300 different frequencies or 400 frequencies within each one. Still a lot of content. No reason why you can't run the vibration on all of those 5 pages. But the next phase, here's what I recommend. You run the scan on all Healy programs, identifying the top 5 pages. Then you go back and run a scan on each page individually. And now that's going to identify the top 5 programs per each page. All right. Top 5 programs per each page. Now you're starting to build what I call a recipe. You have the number 1 page, and then you have the number 1 program on that page. Now you're setting a priority for yourself, for your body, okay, for your balancing protocol. So I write all of that stuff down. I write its significance in terms of what page was it on and what percentage of importance it was. So if the first page that pops up is something from, say, the fitness page, right? And then the second page was mental balance and whatever, so on and so on. And then I go back and I scan again on the fitness page, and the top program on that page, the number 1 top program on that page, wound up being, say, energy. Okay, well, now there's something within that particular program that my body needs really bad. So I will run that as a top priority program. Okay, and you can run up to 3 a day. So what I like to do when I create this recipe is I will take the top program found from each one of the 5 pages on those individual scans. So the top program. So the day 1, I'm going to run 3 programs. So page 1, 2, and 3, right, that were identified, and program number 1 on each one of those pages. That's kind of my recipe. I'll run that for the day 1. Day 2, I'll take the other 2 pages and so on. And I will create like a priority list. So you can do that and just do these experiments, because Healy is assigning meaning or priority. And then you just implement. We don't really need to analyze why. Just give it a test drive. Okay. What
so
else?
we had a success story. So ring that tech tip bell.
Hey.
The instructions that Taylor put into the chat here to help Dina get her Heal Advisor app to sync properly when it opens up worked. So thank you, Taylor. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Ding. Did you hear the ding? I heard the ding in the background. All right. Sweet. I love success stories.
Yeah.
Okay. And folks, if you want to save the chat, because that content is in there, hopefully you know how to do that. At the bottom right corner of the chat, there's 3 little dots. Click on those. And if you're on your computer, it'll allow you to save chat to your computer. And when we're done with the call, you'll have a pop-up that comes up with a file. and you'll be able to save that file to your documents or whatever. And all this content will be in there. All right, including the private messages. So be careful what you say there. No, I'm kidding. All right. Yay. What else we got? Let's see. So follow up to the top 5 questions says, then as we scan the top 5 programs from the all Healy programs, and then individually run the program, or AKA recipe, what duration do you recommend? That's another great question because we're running it from the blue dot, right? If these things, and Healy has a protocol, if these things are addressing an acute condition, acute meaning long-term, right? Something that's going on within the body, something that's in the moment, or something that's aggressive, acute, short term, sorry. So if it's something acute, then you're going to want to run it for, typically it is going to be short bursts more often. Short bursts more often. So, you know, a minute or 2, several times a day. If this is something...
No, I was just going to say, the chart isn't available in the Analyse app training, but if you go to your academy.healy.world, one thing you notice, you have to sign in now to get into that. You just use the same password as going into back office or shop. But there's a video in the Success Coach training called Transmission Duration at Healy Coach. And in that video, they show a chart based off acute or longer term, and then you have there's the charts there. That same chart for Success Coach is the same chart that you'd want to follow for running programs, just in the resonance section in the Analyse app.
Yep. So anyway, there's again, there's these times, and we look for very distinct answers to these times, or how long do we do it? I am an experiment. I think we're all an experiment in terms of life. And so I tend to run things for longer periods of time. That's just my opinion. And then I just see what my body's doing. I have overdone that too much for too long. And the side effect, and the worst thing that happens is just fatigue. You feel a little bit tired. You feel maybe agitated in some way. It's not like I haven't heard of anybody vomiting, or I'm not saying that's not possible, but I haven't heard anybody that reactionary to some of the programs that you're running too long. But do an experiment. Take a look at that chart, play with it. Remember, you can actually set up custom times in there, and you can run it longer periods of times if you like. The blue dot application or vibration mode is the most subtle implication to the body. So no matter what you're doing, the mind can negate the implication or the implementation. The mind can still negate it. So if you believe it's good, it's going to be good. If you believe it's bad, it's going to be bad. So work on your intention at the same time as you're working on the influence from the information field. Keep your intentions clear. Okay. Let's see. So Linda's asking a question here. In the Heal Advisor app, my program works like normal, but when the program starts in the pink app, everything is new. I'm not sure. Everything is new. I'm not sure what that means. So in other words, the transition of the program that's advised in the Advisor app isn't transitioning over to the pink dot to run. Is that what you're trying to say? So in other words, it's not automatically launching the pink dot program. I want you to know that if the Heal Advisor identifies a pink dot program or a microcurrent program that you don't have a subscription for, that's not activated on your pink dot, then it's not going to turn on. Okay, because it just doesn't have the resource to engage it. So I want some clarity on that. If the Heal Advisor has suggested a program that is a subscription-based program and you don't own the subscription, in other words, it's not loaded into the resources of your Pink Dot, then it can't open it. Okay. All right.
Ken, I was going to say, she mentioned also, she was asking about that she can't turn the blue light off on the Pink Dot app. So I guess two things there. One, if you don't have the program open, or you no longer are running a program and you just want that blue light to go off, if it's still blinking, it means it's still connected to your smart device. You can just hard open up the program again and just hard close it, and then that blue light will go off once that program is actually closed. If you're wanting the blue light to go off when you're running a program, there is a way to turn off the Bluetooth chip when running a program as well, and that is just at the very top of the screen, there's a little green on toggle sort of switch. If you click on that, it'll ask you, are you sure you want to turn off the Bluetooth chip? You click OK, and then you continue to run the program. It'll run for the rest of the duration of the program, but you won't be able to anymore adjust the intensity of the program because you're no longer connected to the app itself. So hope one of those two helped with the question.
Yeah, if you're running a program in the Pink Dot app and you're seeing the green light flash on the Healy and you're seeing the blue light flash on the Healy, that means there's the green light flashing means there's data content that's being transmitted between the Healy and the app. And what data is being transmitted essentially is conductivity, are you connected, getting current flow through the body, as well as the information about what frequency and any progress that has been assessed since the beginning of the program. So that's content data being sent between the Healy and the app. And then the app is reflecting the information on the screen of your smart device. And the blue light flashing is the radio signal or the modality in which that content's being sent. So when the program is done, the green light will stop flashing, but the blue light will still flash because it's still connected between the app and the Healy. And as Jake said, just hard close the app. And if you don't know how to hard close an app on your smart device, then go to YouTube, search hard close an app on my Android or on my iPhone or whatever, and you'll find how to do that. So
there's a question from Linda as well. She's, the question earlier about the blue light. She said, has the Pink Dot app changed? And based off her earlier comment about everything's new when she opens it, I'm wondering if it's possible, Linda, have you downloaded the new Mag Healy app, which just says Healy also on the icon? Because if you've done that and try to log in, everything will look new for sure in there. So like if you recently uninstalled and just typed in Healy in the App Store, if you see this one here, it says Mag Healy next to it, but the actual icon for the app just says Healy. It's the one right here, but I'm wondering if that's possibly what might be going on here. But if that is the case, then for now, definitely want to just go back and download the regular Healy app that has just a little pink dot in the corner. So
yeah, it's funny. I mean, even with the Heal Advisor and the Heal Advisor search, I mean, some of the names are the same, but look behind me, you'll see the different, what they look like. They look a little different. I haven't loaded the
yeah, Ken, you got to get that background.
I got to get my background updated. I'm going to put the Mag Healy over on my other shoulder over here so you can see.
we're fine with 5 because he kind of does the whole loop around. But if we get a 6th one, I don't know what you're gonna have to like duck down a little further.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make them smaller. Actually, I can't make them smaller.
No.
It does it by itself. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else we got here? Okay. So Marlena's saying that, let's see, checked with upline and she got the code previously with no problem. Everything was working. This is what we're going back to a question before. Then just yesterday, the blue dot went down and she tried to reinstall and follow the same procedures, but no code was sent. Okay. So, what was showing on the screen? I would wonder if it's asking you to import master key.
Yeah.
Or because if it's saying import master key, then it's still the old version. Somehow it's still showing the old version of the app. So I would want to know that.
Okay. We have a battery question here. It says, my Healy is not charging. I have done all the protocols. So I'm assuming that means that they've gone through a hard reset as well. It says when I plug it on, the light goes on for only a couple of minutes. I have it on charge now and the light is solid, so I'm hoping it just needed a rest. Lucky to have a second one. Yeah, maybe it was tired, a busy week, but the couple of things to check there. If you've done a hard reset and you're still having issues, check the charging cable itself, and also check the wall block that the charging cable plugs into, that it's not halfway out of the outlet in the wall, that's fully in there. Most people have at least another micro USB cable or another wall block you can charge. So if you're not getting good results from one, just try out another one and see if that could possibly be the issue as well. Ken, what else could the...
Yeah, I get that often. Those cords are like, the micro USB cords are inexpensive. And if you could see the size of the contacts within those little ends, they're very small and they don't last forever. So certainly try different cords. Even if you use that cord and it charges your smart device, but it doesn't charge your Healy, that doesn't mean everything. It doesn't mean that the cord isn't still having an issue when it's plugged in the Healy. Or sometimes the cord will fit and work in the Healy, but not work in, say, another device you're trying to charge. Point is, have different cords. Take a look when you're plugging things in. You'll notice that green light may flicker, and if you move the cord, it flickers or goes off. Well, that's a very distinct indication that you've got a problem with the connection. All right. So if you get a new cord and it's charging fine, everything resets, great. Now you're back in business. But if it's persistent and you've tried multiple cords and the Healy just won't connect properly, then it could be an issue within the receptacle or the receiver in the Healy itself. But that's not very often. That's rare.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Ken, this is a top 5 all-time question regarding the coil that just came in the chat here. So when running a blue dot program, so in the Analyse app, does it matter if the coil is still plugged in? So
we get this a lot, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And you always have an excellent way to explain this, that it certainly doesn't provide any benefit.
Right. So Healy itself, if you understand this little hardware, in the back of the Healy, inside here on the back side, inside there's a PCB or printed circuit board. And on the back side of it here is a noise generator. It's basically a frequency generator system that actually, it sends out a frequency signal like a radio station. And so where does the coil go? It goes on the back, right? And the coil itself is coils. The reason it's called a coil is because it's got coils of copper wire inside of it, or they're called traces, but they're copper conductive material inside of it. And so when you are sending a radio signal from a radio station up an antenna, the current flow, in other words, the information is electron flow that goes up that antenna. And anytime you have electron flow in through a conductor, an antenna, through an extension cord, or even through your nervous system, it emits a magnetic signal out of it. So in other words, the radio station up on the hill somewhere in your location, sending information such as the music and the DJ's content and commercials and whatever it is. It's an electron flow going up the antenna, and that electron flow up the antenna creates a magnetic signal that radiates out of the antenna, and that radio signal goes omnidirectional as far as it can go. And every other antenna that's out there or conductor that's out there, when that same magnetic wave goes across that conductor, it creates an induction of electron flow in the antenna. And that electron flow in the antenna has the same information as the magnetic wave. So now all the songs, all the verbiage from the DJ, all the commercials that were in the information of that magnetic wave that's then hits the antenna of your car is then turned into information that your radio decodes. Okay. That principle is exactly the same in Healy. When Healy is sending the information out of the transmitter, it's going out into the information field, and it's pretty much omnidirectional. And when you have a coil on the front of it, then that signal typically will induce a magnetic wave into the coil, then have to propagate the signal again out of it, and could negate the signal. It could. The system is not designed to have the coil on there, or not necessary to have the coil on there when you're running the blue dot. In fact, the coil wasn't even invented yet when the blue dot was implemented. So I don't have studies. I haven't done any tests to see if the signal is negated. But when you're running the blue dot, it's working with your information field anyway. So it's quantum entanglement with the client, with whoever the client is that we're sending to. So it's really, it's not hindering, but it's not benefiting. So I typically, in fact, always take the coil off when I'm not running it for its purpose, because then I'm using the Healy the way it was designed with the equipment it had. You know, I use the analogy, you wouldn't use a spoon to dig a ditch. You wouldn't eat your porridge with a shovel, right? So if it's designed to have a coil on it when it's running the frequency, the program, then put the coil on it. If it's not, don't. Use it the way it's designed. Okay. All right. What else we got? Is there a maximum distance between persons being Healy'd, I like that word, Healy'd, and the Healy device when using the Blue Dot app if the Healy can't be worn on the person? Great question, which ties right into what I just said. Quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement has infinite range. So in other words, you can, once you've created a client within the Blue Dot app and you've done the readings, in other words, someone has held the Healy in their hand, they've done the readings of the energy field, and you've put that content within the client's record. You save the client. Now, everything you do with that Blue Dot is sent to the client, sent to the intention or the attention of the client. And that's quantum entanglement. It's using, literally, it's using a electron field, which is everywhere. So you don't have to be in proximity. You can be across the United States, across the planet. Now, let me give you another little hint. That's not all. You can actually input a client remotely, right? You can put a client content into the Blue Dot app. And when it comes time to actually put the Healy in your hand or the client's hand and read the information field, read their energy, you can simply just put your attention and be the surrogate. You put your attention on them. They put their attention on the moment. And it's all intention. And the Healy will read the content of them and then you save it into their client record. Now you've got a way of actually, I like to do it when I see somebody on screen, FaceTime or Zoom call, so I can actually see them, but you can even use a picture and create that intention. This is where long distance communications happens. This is where quantum entanglement happens. So I do it all the time, and it's super effective. I've done tests by creating a remote client and then sending content remotely, having never been in the personal three-dimensional space of this person and not knowing their issue, and letting the system do all the work, and then them reporting back to me with changes in the physiology of their body. Right. So I think, and I had one person that said they had a 70% improvement in a condition within 48 hours. 70%. Okay. Next. All right. Dina says she's done what we were just talking about, remote with the aura and the resonance, and had great results. It doesn't matter where you are, California or Iceland, around the world. All right. Marlena can log into the blue dot or the blue app. Then I asked for the code. None has been sent as of yet. Okay, so good. So you actually were attempting to log in. It asked.
I'm wondering how many times she's tried to log in, because or possibly if she entered the wrong code at some period of time, because I was just checking some of the release notes for the 1.2 1.0, and if you there's a security feature in place to where if you request the code above a certain number of times within 24 hours, it locks you out for 24 hours. So I'm wondering if somehow through this process of uninstalling and reinstalling, maybe it didn't go through her email properly. It's been had too many times that maybe she just needs to wait without doing anything for 24 hours. I'm just trying to think that could be possibly what might be going on here.
Yeah. I mean, this is a security protocol, so somebody doesn't just keep trying to get in. This is a very secure system, so yeah, it's a good question. So I'd love to know how many times you've attempted to log in.
Yeah. Okay, there was the question further up again about the battery. They were asking, now that their Healy is charging, how long should I leave it on to recalibrate, and how low should I let the battery run down before recharging? So it's always best to let the battery fully discharge before charging again if you're able to. And as far as recalibrating, you're going to want to go through a couple of different charging cycles of fully charge, fully discharge, fully charge, fully discharge, as well, especially after a hard reset. So,
running 3 cycles is kind of my 3 fully discharged, fully charged. My equation is typically 3 full cycles is what I recommend to make sure that we're at optimal battery life.
Okay.
That's what I like to do. There's a question here. Is there a video on the remote? I've actually done a couple, by the way. Let's see. I have a YouTube channel. You can go, I think they're there, I'm pretty sure. Which is I Create Me, all one word. ICREATEME. It's just the YouTube channel. Type it in there.
Yep.
And I have some recordings there.
So speaking of YouTube, the recording of this call will be available on our YouTube page, HealyAmericas.com. You can also find it directly in YouTube if you search for Healy World Americas. But for those of you that did not were able to attend last week's Healy for Beginners and Beyond, it was the first one we've done in quite a while, and we did a deep dive on the Mag Healy. Doc Steve was on that call. It was a great call. We went through a complete unboxing of how it looks from the factory. Talked about some of the features related to the wireless charger that comes with it, the new charging cable, the new app, how all that works. Went through each of the individual modules, the classic, the atmosphere, the water, and the McMakin. We informed some water live on the call, which was kind of cool. So if you haven't checked out that recording, I saw a few hundred people have watched that recording already. So I know a lot of people are looking for more and more content on Mag Healy, but that call is on our YouTube page. If you go check that out now, definitely worth watching.
Yay. All right.
Yeah.
So, what else we got here? I'm going to actually put that link to, there we go. There's a link to that YouTube on the remote scan. It's really an amazing tool, by the way, folks. I'm just saying it's an amazing tool to be able to, what we can do with quantum entanglement.
There was a question from Dina. She said, so you do a hard reset of the Healy after 3 times of charging cycles. So no, it's you do the hard reset first, and then after you do a hard reset, you want to do at least 3 full cycles of fully charging, fully discharging, fully charging, fully discharging. So because once you do the hard reset, it resets the whole battery algorithm, and then you got to start over. So
yeah. And by charging it again, it's gonna, and this is also, when you charge it again, it also, sometimes maybe you've noticed that the little battery life indicator might say still maybe, I don't know, it might be at 30% or something. All of a sudden it goes dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of the component of the algorithm that, because if you notice, the Healy is not plugged into your smart device to actually find out, a little meter or charging meter of how much voltage is in the battery. That's all done via software or mathematical equations. And so that can get off a bit. So that reset redoes all that. And now you'll see that you'll get it almost, I've got, most of mine go all the way down to 0 volts or 0 on the battery. And it's still running on 0 for a minute. And then all of a sudden up, I push it all the way to the end. All right. Here's the next question. In addition to how do you scan a business building? Yeah, these different entities, stuff like that. How do you do that? What programs do you suggest to run? So if you're putting a client in, let's just look at this for a minute. The frequencies that are designed for human bodies are working within the electron field, working within the influence over genetic coding, working within the influence of the cell membrane voltage. Now, when it's a building, there is going to be programs that show up. First of all, frequencies are already created. We're not making up new frequencies. There's just a spectrum of frequencies that's already created. And we're just discovering that certain frequencies do certain things to cells. Certain frequencies do certain things to emotions. Certain frequencies do certain things to water. All right. Some frequencies do things to activate the eardrum, such as music. Certain frequencies will align the energy of a building or a plant. And those frequencies still live within the frequency range of a program's resource pool. Okay, so when you're scanning a building and it comes up with, say, energy from the fitness page, like, why does a building need energy? Right. Well, it's because there's frequencies within that energy program that's going to align the misalignment of the structure. Okay. So like I said, we're not making up new frequencies. We're just utilizing what's already available. And so the necessity of the entity, building, plant, animal, human, lives within the arsenal of the programs that Healy has, and it's going to choose accordingly. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay. Anything we missed, Jake? We're kind of caught up. You're muted.
Yeah, I was to say we're pretty caught up here, and this is a good time to remind everybody to join us for What's Up Wednesday tomorrow. We're going to have a little bit of a different format. So we're actually near the second half of the call. We're actually going to do a Wednesday tech tip segment. So we're going to do something similar to like what we're doing right now, where you can ask tech questions in the chat in the second half of that call tomorrow. So definitely join us for that one. And we have one of our great Healy members, Chad Fisher, that's going to be talking about the bioenergetic defense programs. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be great. So a different format, right? We're just kind of mixing it up, try to give service to the field, give benefit to the field. So
yep. And Taylor just put in the chat here, she's going to be helping out on that call tomorrow as well. So thank you. Looking forward to that.
Yay, Taylor. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So a follow-up to the scanning of a building or a business. How do we scan a building or business? How? So you will have your Healy, you will open your Blue Dot app, and when you go to create a client, you click on add client, you'll see a drop-down list. And that drop-down list has building. It has different entities in which you can choose. So you choose them. And the cool thing is when you choose a building, it asks you different questions than if it was a person. Right? It's going to want to know the year the building was built, the logistics of it, where it is, that kind of stuff. So this is pretty cool. You just put the content that you know about the building. Yeah, take a picture of it. There's ways in which you can scan groups, whether it be a group of people or an organization, all kinds of stuff. And each one of those categories, when you dive into the addition of that client, they're all called clients, but what kind of a client? So then it's going to give you different categories, different boxes to fill in order to create what? The quantum entanglement with that entity. It needs to know a specific piece of information. And then you put that in there, you still do a scan using the Healy, or you can do it remotely, because now use the Healy hardware, just bring yourself out of the equation and put your attention on the building or the entity, whatever it is, and allow the quantum sensor to actually pull in the content, the coordinates, because you've put the address of the building, you put the year of the building, you put the picture of the building, you put the contents of the building, so that you're creating a GPS signal. Then what Healy's trying to do is the last piece, the cap on the top of the mountain there, is the energetic signature, and that's the reading. And you can simply put the attention and intention on that location and let Healy still read the information, and it's going to just add to that resource pool, or AKA the coordinates. And then you've got your client, you're ready to go. You can still use Bach flowers, or you can still use homeopathic remedies to send frequencies. Whatever database you choose, the system skills are going to try to find the closest frequencies necessary to align the client that you're analyzing. Okay. Play around with that. Use different databases and see how you'll see that the percentage of relevance will go up when you're within a database that's most serving of the client. It'll find something in almost every database. It just may be the relevancy is lower percentages. Okay. All right. 5 minutes left. Anybody? Yeah, I want to plug the YouTube channel again. the Healy World America's YouTube channel. I want to plug that. Go there, guys. Subscribe. Click on the little bell notification. So every time this call is going to get put in there, the recording will be in there. And then you'll get a notification saying there's a new recording. Now, sometimes customer service makes some cool creative content and puts it in there, right? And then you'll get a notification for that too. So you'll see some cool videos on how-tos. So, so definitely subscribe to that channel. Next place that you would want to be engaged in is our Telegram group, which is the Team Healy USA Telegram group. Make sure that you and all of your members and customers are in that group, because we put content in there as well for how to get to these particular calls, and yeah, relevant stuff comes in there. Okay. Let's see, what time is your Wednesday calls? They are at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And the link will be posted in there shortly this evening. And then with it, there's a list of what we cover on the call. Jake kind of already spilled the beans about what we're going to be covering, which I think that's going to be fun. You know, we've got some great resources.
And you can always join What's Up Wednesday by going straight to HealyWUW.com. So if you, for some reason, can't access the Telegram group or on that particular day, at 1 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday, just type that in and it'll take you right to a Zoom call.
Yeah, super useful. We've got different URLs for the different calls. And of course, those are also on your events page on your shop. If you go to your shop, you can go to events and you can see virtual as well as live, and it'll be in the virtual events. So there's a whole list. It's right there in your shop.
Yeah.
Yay. So the What's Up Wednesday, see the link was just posted there. Taylor put it in there. HealyWUW.com. Okay, so that's a good way. Basically what that is that's just a hyperlink right to the Zoom call. You'll be dropped right into the Zoom call.
Yep.
Yep. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And of course, this call, same thing, same Tuesday, same time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. Well, we're at the
yeah.
Thank you guys. I mean, we can close up a little early. I mean,
yeah, why not? 2 minutes early. Let's do it.
Only a couple minutes. What the heck? So thank you all for being here. 29 participants. I appreciate you guys being here. Definitely, if you find value here, shout it out to your groups, shout it out to your teams, and invite somebody next time to come and join in. We usually cover a little bit extra just for the fun of it. So hopefully you learned something and you take something home with you tonight. So thanks everybody for being here. I will stop the recording. Big love to you all, and we'll see you next